Hello again. I know it's been quite a while, but as you can tell, I've upgraded. I've bought some stuff to do some face-to-face camera content. I bought myself a mic and a little tripod, so I guess my influencer career can finally kick off. So today I wanted to talk about my cover. It's been a bit over 2 months now since I've launched the book, and I've received a lot of questions about where the cover comes from, who made it, what the process is like. So I thought, why not make a video about it? So let's start with the artist. The cover was made by the very talented Jeff Brown. I just did some research. I looked at other debut authors who they worked with. I looked at just covers in general, which ones I liked, and looked at the artists. And in the end, I stumbled upon Jeff's website, and I thought his style is really nice. He has this gritty, almost realistic style that I think serves fantasy really well. I reached out via his website, and I was lucky enough to book him right as he was really taking off, I guess. Clearly, I wasn't the only one taking notice. Jeff was getting picked up by some very big authors for some special editions. Christopher Paolini for his Aragon series, Scott Lynch for his Lies of Locke Lamora, and even Joe Abercrombie. He did some in-book art, I believe, for the Devils series. So flattering company to say the least. So how did this all work in practice? First, we set up a call to talk about the project. I sent him a pretty detailed art brief because my project is, of course, not very typical with the dolphin people, the Nazril, and some special set pieces as well. So I sent him the art pieces I had already commissioned from other artists and some of the stuff I made myself just to show him what I was looking for and what I thought about the project and then during the call we talked it through and he started doing these sketches really super detailed sketches already and he did them in 5 minutes just to show you like what's possible. I was really amazed by that. This guy really knows his stuff. After a while he sent me an email back with his first progress on the painting, and I was very excited and already looked great, I think. And as he progressed, he kept sending me updates and requesting feedback, and we generally worked through the piece together. And of course, I mostly let him guide me in this because what do I know? But some things needed to be tweaked because they didn't fit what I had written, obviously. So you have to keep in mind there. It's possible that the artist draws them prettier than you have described them, but it's better to, I guess, stay true to your concepts because otherwise it gets a bit muddled. My book cover is inspired by the cover of Empire of Silence by Christopher Rucchio. Excellent novel. I thought it would work really well for my novel as well because it's also focused on one character and there's also like a unique setting going on that I wanted to showcase on the cover. So I gave him my vision, and Jeff agreed that it would work for my book and for the genre that I was trying to convey. I think it really works. Poison Past is also focused on one character, like in The Empire of Silence. It really prominently features Corral, so he really gets the spotlight, I guess. The fire behind him, it's not just for dramatic flair, but it also signals an important part of the setting. Uh, as you might know from reading the blurb, this isn't really the VAR that I've been talking about. This is a very dark time for VAR because it's being used as a intergalactic dumping site, I guess, by a species they don't even know. And there's this waste constantly being bombarded into the ocean, and it's kind of magical eco-apocalypse setting. In the background, if you really squint, you can see Tarka over there in the background. It's also a very important character in the book. I guess the second most important character, and I really wanted her to feature because she is central to Corral's arc and motivation for the story. So you basically have him, the setting, and then Tarka in the background, and then that's all. It's a pretty simple cover, but it works because covers in general are rarely complicated. As authors, you have written these amazing books with all this stuff, and you really want to show it all off. And I understand that urge. I had it as well, but in the end, a cover really is a marketing piece. You have to think of a movie poster, and it has to convey the most important themes and settings and characters. Show the stuff that's really cool in your book. I guess you have to draw the reader in, and it has to look appealing. And then only then people will pick it up and read the blurb, and then maybe you'll get a sale. So that's all there's to it. It can't tell the entire story. There's no place for it. There's no space on the tiny thumbnail, especially not. Speaking of the process, it takes quite some time to make a cover. Um, for if you want to book Jeff specifically, I imagine he'll be booked out like at least 6 months out, maybe even a year. I don't know. I can't speak for him, but generally artists are quite busy. When I contacted him, he was doing other projects, and I think it took like 5 or 4 months to have our first call, and then it took like another couple of months just to have the job done. It was mostly because he was doing a lot of other stuff at the time. So yeah, but if you found one you really like, it really doesn't hurt to contact them well in advance. Sometimes, if they accept you, they'll ask for a small deposit to see if you're serious and to lock you in, I guess. For me, it was like $50 or something. So just to know what you're getting into. One more thing for other aspiring authors, you don't really need a detailed art brief. It's not absolutely necessary. I think it helps a lot, but in general, if you're a normal person and you write about people and not about dolphin people or whatever, it's easier for the artist to know what they're getting into. And if you have a more typical plot, something that you a typical European medieval fantasy, let's say, I don't think an art brief will be that important. Just some general pointers about what the story is about, I guess, should help the artist along just fine. And in general, artists who do a lot of covers, they really know what they're talking about. They make these kind of covers all the time. They look at the industry all the time. They know what sells. They know what fonts to use, what colors, etc. So there's a lot to it that you might not realize from just looking at books. There's a whole strategy behind it. Sometimes it has to look great in the thumbnail as well, because most books are being bought online these days, and they see in this tiny picture. So color is important, composition, and yeah, just fulfilling reader expectations, I guess. There's always trends, there's always like things that are popular, and you really want to hit on those trends in general but still stand out in a way. And I think artists are generally pretty capable in doing this for you. So don't hesitate to just reach out to an artist and let them take the wheel, I guess. Another small thing that for me was new, at least, is fonts. So the title and your author name on the book, and just the art itself from the cover are two separate things. Sometimes even the artists who do these kind of paintings, they don't do the font because they're not specialized in it. So in the case of Jeff, he does both, but not all of them do. It's just something to keep in mind when you're quoted a price. Always see if the fonts and the title is included. Another small thing is when you buy a cover, it's possible that it's only one format. So you only get like an ebook cover. There are different types of formats. I'll show them here. Um, in my case with Jeff, I got a complete package, so I can use him for everything, for audiobook, for paperback, hardcover, even for some banners, etc. It was just one complete package. Many of them will just give you one image that you can use, and they'll scale it for you in some different ways, but it won't necessarily be useful for every mode of reading, I guess. So something to keep in mind as well. I guess that's everything I had to say on the topic. Personally, I really love how the cover turned out. I think it really depicts the look and feel I had in mind for the book, the character, and just the setting in general. I like that it looks different as well. I guess many people will be like, "What the hell is this?" But I don't mind. I like standing out. I like to do something different. Would love to hear your feedback as well. What you like about the cover, what you didn't like. in general, it's always useful to know what other people think. And if you're an author, aspiring author, I should say, feel free to reach out and ask me some questions about the process. I'm happy to help. And for those who'd like to support me, my book is available on Amazon. I'll put a link below. I really want to thank everyone who's already bought the book. Your support means a lot to me. If you happen to read my book, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a review. It's really hard to stand out. There's so many books getting published. To get traction, you really need reviews. So it would really be appreciated. Also, now that I have this setup, I have to use it. I have to use my microphone and my tripod. So if you have any video ideas, let me know. I'm happy to do something different. Uh, Also, if you're interested in hiring artists, I left the profiles of the artists that I worked with in the past, the ones whose art was featured here. I believe I booked them via Fiverr. I really recommend their services. They did a stellar job, I think, and were just pleasant to work with. Yeah. Sorry if this was a bit of a rambling video. I'm getting used to all of this. I'm not very media trained, as you can probably tell. I hope you found this useful, and thanks for watching and take care. Bye.